don't see them here in our meeting. Oh, thanks, Dr. Fabian. Hope I said that right. Yeah, Eddie Merckx. You're probably one of the only person that had recognized that. Everybody always asks me what that picture is of the cyclist in the back.
The greatest of all time, right?
The greatest of all time. There's one more than any other athletes, I think, in the world.
Right.
You cycle?
Oh yeah, I used to do a pro as well.
Oh, really? Wow,
Mhm.
amazing. I had never gotten to that level, but have a lot of admiration for that. But nowadays, it's really just about watching the tour every year and feel like I'm taking a trip to France.
Right.
You know, you can't
That
get
is,
those coverages like that. All the little towns that you get to see, you know?
I know, for free as well, right? Well,
Yeah,
to see a sport at
yeah,
that level for free.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the race is fun, but I really enjoy just, it's like a travel channel to me.
It is. It really is, especially when they give the background of some historic sites or castles or things like that. Yeah.
Totally. I wish they would do that more. Sometimes they just tell you a little bit. I wish they would do it more.
I know that, I like it when I guess they do the same thing in Italy, Spain as well. They give you the background of all that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I wish they did it a lot more too. But I guess they gotta
Yeah.
cover what they get paid for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I'd probably get more viewers, even some non-cycler viewers, if they talk about that stuff more, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, super good. All right, I'm gonna get started here. I got some cool stuff for you. Let me share my screen here. You got a couple more joining. Good morning, Pamela. By the way, just a quick tidbit. Pamela's been asking me about this for, I think, a couple of months. She's like, "How do I do this? Show me all the tips." Right?
Yay.
All right, let me get my slides going. Right, can you guys all see my slides? All right, super cool. I was thinking a lot about this and I wanted a really good title. And really, at the end of the day, we just want our emails to be faster, more efficient, and better. And what better way to do that, with AI nowadays? It's incredible because just a year ago, we just had the first anniversary of ChatGPT. And I can tell you, and you guys would probably agree with me, that before that fateful day in November 15th, before ChatGPT was launched, I don't think anybody was talking about any of this stuff, right? No one. And fast forward just 1 year, we have so much to share. And we're just really just scratching the surface here of just one aspect of AI that's helpful for emails. So I'm excited to share this with you guys because there's been quite a few things that I think all of us, number one, can use on an everyday basis. Number two, be able to kind of understand the landscape a little bit, which is what I always like to do. I don't want to just give you a whole bunch of stuff and you not being able to kind of see it from a higher level. And then number three, what's possible in the future. Okay, so that's what we're going to kind of cover today. If you haven't been with me before, I'll just do a quick 35 seconds. I'm Leo Chen. I am a Real Academy instructor here at our brokerage at Real Brokerage. I'm a luxury market realtor here in Orange County, licensed and been actively in production for over 8 years. And the reason I'm giving part of giving this presentation is because I've been in the tech world prior to real estate for over 15 years as a corporate tech executive. I was the director of IT for a very successful agency. And I love masterminding around business, around sales. And then we combine that with tech, and it's just kind of a bonanza, for me. And then I'm also recently, over this past year, a founder of a systems integration agency where I help business owners and salespeople real estate agents, real estate teams, integrate their systems to be able to leverage all the great stuff we have today and be able to do more business and make a lot more money. Okay. And so today, aside from all of this background information about me, why am I even qualified on the email space here? Okay, well, number one, I've built email servers for internet of all kinds of internet purposes, and I actually back in the day have built it from scratch, meaning I had to start with the domain name, and from the domain name we had manually configure all the DNS and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and then actually build a server, meaning install the server operating systems and actually install, say, Windows Exchange and configure all the ins and outs of every single little thing that you had to know about in order to configure it. Okay, and I built these things not only for the company I work for, but I built them for Fortune 500 companies, even high-tech companies, to be able to do email communication, not necessarily for their internal company usage, but we were building website and campaigns and stuff like that that required email exchange that comes in for any of the stuff that's coming into the system to be able to give to our clients. If it's a landing page campaign of some sort for their product. And so these kind of companies, they have such a big brand, they get, millions of hits on the pages, on the websites, and lots of, inputs from all of their users and people inquiring about their products. And so it's quite massive when you think about it, at this levels, quite different compared to our personal emails and what we get, but at the same time, it's just as overwhelming. And then I also manage all our internal corporate users on their personal emails that they use for their personal stuff, of course, their business as well, for their job role and everything. And we can't have any failures. We can't have emails not being, sent or email not being received from our important clients that are, really have no tolerance for failure and really high demand because it's very time sensitive. Okay. And then what we've learned from all of that stuff is everybody's inbox is completely different. Like I'll go from one user to another user to another user, and everybody wants to organize their stuff differently and how they want their communication flow to work, if they even have a communication flow. A lot of people just kind of let it be, and all the emails coming in and going out, they're not keeping track, they're not creating folders, they're not organizing in a way that's scalable for them. Okay, and you have everybody from zero scalability to high scalability to everything in between. So a lot of times I kind of need to do a little bit of background check to kind of see how they work and then be able to organize and create a system for them. Okay, I already mentioned about the corporate campaigns, and my goal, here in this webinar, as well as all the clients that I talk to, is give them zero technical barriers. Okay, nowadays we want to do something, we want to do a campaign, we want to send some kind of email, either one-to-many or one-to-one, or some sort of automation or some sort of a template. Like we have technical barriers. Like, how do I actually do that? How do I do this part? Now I got to learn these 3 things or these 4 things, these 5 things in order to be able to do that one thing. And hopefully you get to learn how to do it and actually it's workable. But oftentimes you get to step 3 and then, you run out of time or you can't understand it. It's too much to understand. And then you went ahead and give up on it and you go on to the next thing. And if that has another technical barrier, then, we get stuck again and then we put it on the shelf. And then 3 years later, we go, oh yeah, I wanted to do that thing. Okay, so my goal is to help you guys have zero technical barriers to be able to do anything you want. And for today, we're going to cover a little bit more about emails and how to leverage AI. So if that's cool, can you give me a 1 in the chat? And if all that stuff resonated with you. Awesome, awesome. And so I'm going to go over some of the issues that people have, with how we think about email. So number 1, you don't want to get stuck in the Pony Express era, right? For how many hundreds of years, were people Pony Expressing it, okay? And so we don't want to Pony Express it anymore. You think about the progression. They went from that, to, mail carriers, to snail mail, what we call it now. And we had snail mail for quite a while, right? You get into the post office, you get into your mailbox, and somehow it gets delivered to the other side of the country or the other side of the world. But it takes a long time, right? Like we used to just, and it wasn't that long ago, we used to just be comfortable with like, hey, if I send something in the mail, like hopefully they get it in a week, and that's acceptable, right? But then comes, AOL.com, where your, email inbox, and came Hotmail, came Yahoo email, and then on and on and on, where we get to where we are now. So let me take a quick temperature check here. What email platform do you guys use as your primary mail platform today, right now, for your business? Gmail, great. Yeah, Office 365, Outlook, Gmail, right? So it's gone from all the way back in the day to all of these iterations. I'm sure you guys all had AOL, had Yahoo at some point, and it ended up with Gmail. And some people went the Microsoft path. Okay, it had all these iterations of Outlook until you get to today, which is Outlook 365. Okay, so those are the two primary email platforms we have today. Literally, it's Gmail or Google Workspace or MS Office with Outlook. Okay. And I started thinking about how everybody feels. And I don't know about you, even with all of my background, I still once in a while still think, hey, am I doing this completely wrong? Right? The way that I organize, the way we send email, the way that, it just takes a certain amount of time to do stuff. I actually have people, friends of mine, I have conversation on my text with, and they say, hey, I'm going to jump off now. I'm going to go, I got a bunch of emails to get out. Right? Like that just sounds so painful to me. Like, why should we have to stop what we're doing or what we enjoy doing, take time to go and block out a whole bunch of times just to do email? Like, oh, I got to respond to this, I got to respond to that, I got to do this, I got to do that. So that's really, something that pains me. You have to, like, if anything, go relax, go have fun, go do whatever you love doing. But you shouldn't be blocking out time to do email. We should be able to do it fast enough and get the communication out, and then go on to what we need to do. So hopefully we're all doing something right, but we still have this inkling that, hey, there's a better way, and hopefully I'm not doing it wrong. Okay. And then, of course, it just takes too long. In the tech world, we have this thing called R&W, which is read and write. So when you put input into computers, it's read and write. Okay. And so when we're on our computer, on our email, on our Gmail, on our Outlook, it just takes too long, right? To read what we need to read, and then we got to write it. Okay. I don't know about you. I wasn't a born writer. So whenever I need to write something, like I have to focus and think about stuff that I want to organize in my brain before it actually comes out of my fingers or comes out of my pen. Okay. So I'm not necessarily a natural writer like some people. Okay. But it just still takes too long. Hey, we got to structure it so it's readable, that it makes sense, so the reader actually understands what you're saying. Okay. So it just takes too long. All right. And so I want to share with you kind of a little bit of progression, okay, how email is organized, and how, and just stay with me for a minute, because we're going to lead you into the AI world as we go. Okay. So how do we actually organize email? Okay. So there's number one, the user managed, okay, which is mostly almost 100% manually done. Okay. You think about it. You have to open up your email. You have to look at it. You have to see which one you want to open. You have to open it up. You have to see what it's about. You have to move it to a certain folder or file. Okay. Or you want to respond to it, or you got to delete it. You got to make all these decisions manually. Okay. Or you have an executive assistant that you train, that you pay to do that for you. okay? And not everybody can afford that, right? And not everybody would be able to also spend additional time upfront to train that person and have your own time that you have to pay for, your management costs. You have to manage that person, right? Until they get to a point where they actually start becoming productive and can write in your voice in the way that you want and respond to the things only you want to respond to. So it's a lot of work, okay? No matter how you look at it, that entire process is still very manual. Okay, moving on to system managed. Okay, system managed is meaning that you have some automation, something that triggers it. It's really an input output type of thing. Okay, you have, hey, when this happens, when we get this kind of email, do this thing. Okay, rewrite it like this and send it out. Okay, and for something like that, it requires a lot of technical expertise. And it's really, you have to specify exactly, what route to take, A, B, or C, based on what the trigger is. Okay, so it's a very linear kind of a process where you have to map out every possibility there is for this automation, for this workflow to happen. Okay, and so what happens, it needs updating because your response is going to be different. Your ABC options are going to be different. Maybe it's A to E and F instead of just ABC. So you got to constantly update that thing, okay, to make sure that every possibility is accounted for. And then if it's not accounted for, that automation is going to break. Okay, and when it breaks, then you're full stop. Okay, that thing doesn't work anymore until you go and fix it. So that's the world we had before we had AI. Okay, everything is just very linear and robotic, and everything has to be exactly the way it is, or the system won't work. Okay, and you need a lot of technical expertise to actually build something like that, which is why a lot of people didn't opt to do that, because unless you have a specific process that exactly the same every time, you wouldn't go about it this way. Okay, and then lastly, AI managed. It's just kind of the world that we're moving into. Okay, it can make intelligent decision making. Okay, so it doesn't need every single possibility out there, because as you know, ChatGPT really has all the data to be able to figure out what are the options. Okay, just like the system manage, it never sleeps. Okay, and it's the difference between the system manage and AI manage is that it will constantly get better. It constantly is learning from its own mistakes or the mistakes that you make, okay, and can learn from those things. So learning from mistakes is the big breakthrough on AI. Okay, and on top of that, just like the system manage, when it does it right, there is no mistakes. It knows exactly what to do. Unfortunately, not all of those things are readily available to you right now, although a lot of advances are being adopted to all the different applications that we do to be able to do that. Okay, so we are rapidly approaching, in a way that we can literally do anything, but it's going to take some time to adopt into our application world, into our desktop world, into how we actually work, and then how do we actually tell AI what to do. Okay, so give me some feedback here. Of all those things, does that kind of resonate with you guys, kind of the world that we live in? And if you had experience with all three of those types of systems, feel free to unmute and chat. You guys have, yeah, go ahead, Armando.
Yeah, no, I've been around for such a long time before email that I've had experience with both those except for AI. I haven't had any experience with the AI. That's why I'm here, to learn from the master on AI.
Yeah, and the key here is just understand the difference, right? If you don't understand the difference, then you can kind of get all mixed up and jumbled up into what method are you actually using to organize your email, right? And what are the differences? Okay, so super good. Any other thoughts, comments from anybody else? or a question maybe.
You know, I have one other comment on that because I know that I practice zero inbox every day,
Yeah.
but I did discover from Sharon that that just meant I was moving stuff around. I really didn't have a zero inbox. I was just filing stuff around, which kind of doubled the work because I had to go back and look at everything again. So that is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think the zero inbox idea is still very much in the user managed space, right? A lot of like, manually moving, right? So, and it's very difficult to create a system that actually automatically move that stuff for you. And then we have AI managed where we can actually start to be able to do that because now, as you know, like ChatGPT, it can figure out, hey, what is the purpose? What is the goal here? And how do we accomplish that goal? So it can do a lot more thinking here for us. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I want to show you guys, this is the experience that you might have in writing emails every day. Okay, it's you and the keyboard, right? And what do? You start writing. Okay, now you're writing and you're rewriting and reread to spell check or grammar check. A lot of us may not do those things, but we probably should. Okay, and then you edit, and hopefully you edit what you wrote and everything looks good, and you send it, and then on you go to the next one. It's basically an endless loop. Okay, and that process can be, for some people, if you're not doing all the extras, it's a few steps. For other people, it can be 10, 12 steps. Okay, and going through that email could take you an entire day to do that. And so that's what we're trying to reduce here. So in the AI world, instead, we would do something like this. Okay, much simpler, where it's you and the AI that are doing the work. And what you have to do differently here is that you have to manage AI and tell it what to do. Hey, here's a review of what you wrote. I want this to be different. I want it to be sent. I want this to be written a little bit more friendlier. I want this to be a little bit more formalized. I want this to be broken down more clearly for the reader. And it learns from that. And then to be able to send, okay, just like a personal assistant who's a human being, it learns. Okay, and the better it learns and the better it remembers over time, it can do that even faster. Okay, and your reviews could be, very quick because already know that AI knows what you want. Okay, so give me a 5 for 5 fingers in the chat if you think this is a better method than say this. Yeah, we agree, right? And just to make this a little more clear, for some of you who have been in my webinar before, you probably have seen this slide before. Okay, in the internet era, you literally have to have all these different limbs to be able to do all these things. Right? This is how we used to be. Okay, but in the assistive computing era, which is the AI era, it's you managing a robot that can do all of these things for you. Okay, so the future is very bright, and we are finally, in this era where all the developers are working very, very hard toward the assistive computing era. Okay, so a lot of things are going to get easier and faster. Okay, and if we, as business owners or in sales or in real estate, do not keep up with this, then you kind of know what happens, right? Because what about the people who didn't adopt all the newer email email campaigns, all the different technology things that we do nowadays in real estate? And if you were stuck 10, 15, or even 20 years ago, then you would be very, very far behind, and it's very difficult to do business. Think about how hard it is to do business with someone who don't respond to the email, can't get your email, or takes a long time to get back from their email, and then you lose money, lose business, right? And so my job here today is to just help you be able to do that. Okay, and so one of the ways we're going to do this is use what's currently available to you right now. As of May of 2023, Google Workspace rolled out what's called Duet. Okay. And as you can see from all the icons, it will integrate AI into your Gmail, into your calendar, into your Google Drive, into your Google Docs or Google Sheets, and also into Google Meet. Zoom already has some AI features that's rolled out, but Google Meet is going to have available AI features. We're going to focus more on the email part of it, of course. But just so you know, if those of you who have a Google Workspace, can I get a G in the chat if you actually have a Google Workspace suite where you have all of this stuff? Oh, so quite a few of us. Okay, so this will work well for you. You do get a free trial for, I think it's either a 14-day or a 20-day trial for this, and I will give you a link to be able to sign up for that. And by the way, you don't need to take any screenshots or anything like that. I'm going to give you everything, my slides, any links that I have for everything at the end of the webinar, so that you guys can have everything, so that you can just sit back and really just pay attention to the slides itself without being distracted. Okay, so those of you who are using Google Workspace, okay, that's what you got available for you. And again, this was rolled out in May of 2023. So now we're going on, 6 months here. There's still a lot to do, but at least now it's available for us to use. I will definitely give you a link for you guys to sign up for that. It is a good thing to have for your Google Workspace and start being able to use AI features for everything. Okay, and this one I've talked about before, and I just can't say enough about it because it does everything, and I constantly find myself going here to be able to use it. It's called harpa.ai, and it's essentially a Chrome plugin that'll plug into your browser, and it's right there, always one button away to be able to do all kinds of AI functionality. And what's cool about it, and Microsoft has something like this for Bing Chat as well, that it can read the it can actually read the page that you're on, and you can ask it questions or ask it to do something based on the web page that you're on, as well as many other things. But I will just show you a few and how that's going to impact your emails. Okay, so at this time, what I will do is I'll share my screen and I'll share my browser, and I'll show you the Gmail AI for Google Workspace, the Duet AI. Give me 1 second. Share. All right, hopefully you guys can all see it's my email inbox here. You guys can all see that? Good. Let's see, chat. All right, so some of you might be here because of the email I sent out to our group on an invitation for this webinar. Okay, here was my email. Okay, and so what I can do here, if I were to just using this as an example, what I can do here is reply to this email, and you'll see down here, because I have Duet installed, you'll see that I have some options here. Okay, and mainly it's this button here called Help Me Write. So if I click Help Me Write, it's going to basically show me a prompt for AI. And so what can I ask here? So add your perspective to the discussion, keep the conversation going with a question, give feedback on this topic, or keep the conversation going. Okay, so here, what I can say is, let's say you got this email that you were invited to this webinar, and you can just say, thank you. I will attend. And you can have it draft an email for you. But unfortunately, it says they're at capacity. So I would love to show you how that works, but it wasn't able to take that prompt. Let me see if I can try something else. Reply with a thank you. Okay, so it looks like Google Duet is jammed up. Got too many people using it, so it says it's at capacity. But I want you to see that basically you have a prompt here like ChatGPT, and you can just basically ask it to write a reply for you. And once you do that, you can just say, hey, add it to my email, and you can click send. Okay, so I'm sorry for that. Too bad that it was at capacity and wasn't able to do that, but it can basically read the email content and then write you a reply based on that. Now, if that were to happen to you and you had Duet AI, what we can do is I can use Harpa. So here's my Harpa Chrome extension. If I go ahead and click that, you can see right away, it gave me options. Do I want to write an email? Do I want to reply to an email? Do I want to summarize the email? Or many of these other commands that it can do. Okay, so since this is a third-party tool, it's readily available here. But in this case, okay, let's say I replied to this email like I was trying to do earlier. So I click reply and gives me some options and say, hey, let's see, I can say agreement. So now it's writing out an email for you, agreeing to the email. And it says, hi, Leo, I completely agree with you on the love-hate relationship with email communication. It's something that we all deal with, and it can be quite frustrating at times. The idea of using artificial intelligence to streamline to improve the email process sounds intriguing. I'm definitely interested in your AI webinar series at Rio Academy. Writing emails quickly and efficiently is something I love to learn more about. Plus, getting to inbox zero the AI way sounds a lot like a game changer. Thanks for sharing the details, and I'll mark my calendar for Tuesday, December 5th at 10 a.m. Okay, so I can copy that and go to my email and go ahead and let me close my Duet here. And then I can paste, and there's my email. Okay, and I'll tell you, this is a lot faster than me having to reply to it. And if I want to send an email, same thing. Either I can write in Duet, or I can go to Harpa and say, write an email to my friend inviting him to a webinar about AI. Right. Be casual and friendly. Okay, so you can see it's going to write that email for me. And you'll see down here in the corner, it's using ChatGPT 3.5 to be able to do this. So when you install Harpa AI, you'll be able to be prompted in the settings to connect that to your ChatGPT account. Okay. Well, hopefully it's going to reply. Let me try this here. I think it's because I have it reset. So oops. Oh. Okay. All right, so there it goes. Send an email. I hope this email finds you well, good spirits. Here's the details. Okay, so you can write your emails here. So it's like a little companion here, just like Microsoft 365 has their Copilot. You can copy this and put it right into the email here. Okay, as you can see, if I reset this, there's just all kinds of stuff that I can do. All right, and I want to go over the summarize because a lot of times we have emails that we just have to, just takes a long time to read to find out what it is. So here I have a newsletter. okay, Essential California, and there are all these things in here. And I don't want to read all of this. Okay, so if I go to HARPA again, it's page aware. Okay, and this time maybe I can use GPT-4. And if I click this button, I can say, hey, summarize this for me. In short paragraph. Okay, so now it's summarizing this entire email for me. So if you're using ChatGPT 4, it's slightly slower than 3.5, which actually would do just as good of a job. So there we go. So it summarized the entire email here with this one paragraph. Okay, so now if you're in the real estate space, like a lot of us are, good question, Garrett. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in mobile because this is a Chrome plugin. Okay, but the Duet AI for Google, it does work on the mobile Gmail app. So once you enable it here, enable it into your account, it will work on the mobile app. So that part works. Okay, you just have to wait for it to not be at capacity. Right? So last example here is regarding market reports, because we get this stuff all the time. And we just want to be able to say, hey, what is going on here? So if we go to HARPA again, all right, and we summarize this email, and there we go. All right, we can ask it questions about this email. What's current interest rate? Okay. Couldn't find information about the current interest rates. Okay. I can ask, tell me about possible rate hikes, rate changes. Discusses changes. This email discusses possible rate changes, including Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell's caution stance on rate cuts, FA announcement of conforming rate limits for 2024, and the market expectations for Fed rate cuts in 2024 amidst economic uncertainty. Okay, so out of all this stuff, it was able to pull out only what I wanted to know. And if this is something that your client is asking you about, general rate cuts and what's going on with the rates, you can just copy this and put it into an email. So I can say copy, propose email, and then I can paste it right in here. Okay. So that's how you use HARPA. I can show you so many other things with HARPA, but I think for right now, you can kind of get the idea of all of these different commands that it can actually do. Okay, you can actually just scroll through all these different things it can do. Ask questions about it, summarize. If you guys are on YouTube a lot, which I am. So if you're in YouTube, for example, and let's say I pick a
So the OpenAI,
if I pick a video here, and I'll tell HARPA, hey, give me a short, summarized video. So I want a shorter summarization. So now it's doing it. Here's the summarization of this email. Extremely short is what I ask it to do. Okay, so I encourage you guys to play around with that. And definitely it can be a companion for you always right here. It's just one button away for writing and replying to any email that you have. Okay, is that helpful to everyone? Do you think you'll be able to use that? Yeah. Just give me a yes in the chat if you think you're going to give it a try. A question here from Ariel. What's the biggest difference between 3.5 and 4.0 AI? Oh, great question, Ariel. So 3.5 is the older version, and it actually does probably at least 85% as good as the 4.0 version. Okay. And it's a cleaner version and it can respond quicker. The 4.0 version does a lot more of the complicated either computations or thinking or logic or even emotions. Okay. And so you notice that when I use 4.0, it actually took a little longer for it to come back. So if you really want to write email faster and it's not anything complicated, I would just use 3.5. Okay. Because you can get replies back from it very, very quickly. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Yes, Garrett, it can actually, Garrett, I'll take that back. It can summarize every single YouTube video. What it does is it takes the transcription of the YouTube video and it reads everything and then give you a summary. And you can even ask questions about it because it's read the entire transcription. Okay, now when I say not every video, because some of the videos may not have transcriptions to it. So when the ones that don't have transcriptions, then of course it can't read it and it can't know. Okay, but that's very, very few. I very, very rarely run across that. So it's safe to say that you can do it with just about any single YouTube video. Okay, cool. Great questions, guys. All right, let me get back to my screen. All right, so that's a little bit of duet for you. Unfortunately, wasn't able to show it to you guys in action, but you get the idea. It's really quite simple. You just ask it to write, and it can insert that stuff into your Gmail. Okay, Harpa does a lot of things. I would just start with that, start asking it to reply for your emails for you. It's really just a part of your Google extension, so super easy. Now, I know what you're going to say, like, hey, what if I want to do marketing emails? And you're going to ask me what are the best ChatGPT or AI prompts that I can do. So I gave you some of the best, 6 of the best prompts that you can use. Feel free to take a screenshot of this and use them for your examples and use them for your marketing. I'll read some of these real quick. How to prompt for a cold outreach email. If you have say somebody who emailed you from your sign, somebody who emailed you from finding you on Google search or something like that, and they're asking you something, have it write something that's concise and informal cold emails to a sales lead. You can prompt for sales prospecting emails. So these are all really good examples that are tried and true. So just copy and paste and use them as prompts for you. Every one of you should have a text file of some sort of all the different prompts that you use every day so that you can always reference it. Okay, so really good prompts here that's for everyday use for anything you want. Right here it says a prompt for follow-up emails. We do follow-up a lot as real estate agents. So, hey, write 100-word follow-up emails to the prospect's name who I've just had a call with and now is ready for action. Okay, and this one's cool. Prompt for sales emails to someone who's ghosting you. Nobody likes to be ghosted, right? All right, next I want to go over is when we go beyond some of these practical everyday uses, some point down the line, if some of you want to build automations, okay, some of you may already know about Zapier, which connects 2 applications together, and based on triggers and logic, it can build stuff for you. Here's an example of something that we can build, okay, from myself as well as my team to be able to build for other businesses and salespeople and real estate agents and such, okay, is you can see how this logic goes. Hey, when an email comes in from Gmail that has, let's say, for a particular keyword in it, I want you to start a conversation with ChatGPT. Okay, and here's the user message you can see right here. as an example. And then you can create a draft reply in your Gmail for you. And then all you have to do is say once a day, you go into your draft, you could see what email came in, what ChatGPT replied automatically for you. And then if it all looks good, you just hit send. Wouldn't that be a little bit faster than how we normally do it? How about you wake up in the morning and the emails that came out the night before all have responses all ready to go, and all you had to do is just check it out and say, okay, this is good, send, this is good, send, this is good, send, nope, this is not good, close, right? So we can batch send a lot of stuff very quickly. Is that a kind of automation that you guys think that could be useful and would want to do? Just kind of get a show of hands. Yeah, so this goes back to what I was talking about, right? A different framework for how we do emails. Okay, rather than this. So that's the main point I want you guys to understand, is that it is possible to do this. And it is possible to do this. Okay, and if you want to go one step beyond that even, we can build automations like this. Okay, so this could be an automation for something that comes in from a landing page, goes to your Gmail, some logic was, and things were already kind of configured. And then you'll see this ChatGPT icon here, right here, which means ChatGPT is going to use its logic to figure out what is going on here based on this information and make decisions of what to do. Okay, so this could be a much more extensive automation around ChatGPT. You can see right here, one of the options is that to engage ChatGPT again to get something else done. Okay, in this case here on the screen is it summarizes it, okay, or it creates a draft, or it just automatically sends it. Okay, so you can get quite a bit more complicated with this, but the main point is want to make sure you guys understand that this is just something that's possible. And if you have an idea of how you want your daily workflow to go, that was going to save you time by putting something together like this. I'm happy to go through it with in another webinar, or I can actually show you how to build it, or if you want, I can build it for you as well. So I just want to get a show of hands. Give me a 3 in the chat if you think this is something you never thought of, you never thought it was possible, but now you feel like it's possible. Now you feel like, hey, I have a better understanding. So as I go through my everyday workload, I can start thinking about like, hey, what if I could, instead of doing these 5 different steps or these 15 different steps, can I do this in one step, and can somebody help me with it? Okay, quite a few of you want something like that, right? Because we know time is money, and if we're spending all our time on our email, we're actually not talking to our clients and making good relationships, right? So totally good. All right, so that's what I have to show you today. As always, before you create anything, find an AI tool that's going to be able to do it for you. And then what you always want to do is explore the different tools, acquire some skills, and be able to improve. All right. Yeah, Armando, that's totally good. That was my main point of this. Just want to make sure you guys know the landscape and know the tools possible that you can use today, and then know that there's possible automations and sequences that you can do in the future. So that will cover you currently, and then cover you going down the road of what other things that we can possibly build. Okay, either you can build it yourself, or I can assist you to help you do that. We want you guys to be able to have these capabilities and get ahead, because I'll tell you, not enough people are talking about what's possible, so that you guys can open up your minds about what's possible for your own business, because every business is different. All right. And I appreciate you guys. Here's some of my contact information. And lastly, if you're not already in my mastermind list, where I send out everything, and especially for this webinar, I'm going to be sending out a email with all the resources, all the links to Duet, the links to Harpa AI, the links to some of the different things that we talked about today. Yes, absolutely, and the slides for sure. Thank you for asking, Maria. Definitely, I will email out after the sometime today and get all that stuff compiled and the slides and everything out to you so that you have it to review. Okay, I'll even send you guys the recording afterwards so you guys can also review that. Okay, good. We have a few minutes here. I'll open it up. I'll leave the slide up, but I'll open up for some questions or thoughts and feelings after all this. Yeah, just feel free to unmute.
I do have a quick question, Leo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding I guess, the new update version of Bard coming out next year that was, I guess, slowed down for next year or pushed back. What do you know of it?
The state of all of the what we call chatbots or large language models, LLMs, is that ChatGPT is still the king. They have at least a 1 or 2 year head start on everybody else. Okay, I would say a close number 2 would not necessarily be Bard. Even though Google has been in the AI space a long time, they're actually still kind of behind on actual real everyday usage. Okay, so I would still lean on ChatGPT, but if you are signed up for Duet, Duet is actually using some of the Bard large language model. Okay, but beyond that, my first go-to would be ChatGPT. My second go-to would be a language model called Claude. Have you guys all heard of Claude? It's called Claude AI. Here, let me put it in the chat here. Okay, it's totally free, and it actually works very, very well, and it's very enjoyable to use. And if you want, actually, I can pull it up here for you guys. Stop share. So this is Claude. So my number 1 go-to would be a ChatGPT. Number 2 would be Claude. And I already have an account, but let me just, if I just put my email in here, it's asking me for code. Hold on. But it's really easy to use. And sometimes I actually prefer it to ChatGPT. Okay, and it has, you can see all of my previous prompts right here that I used for it. Okay, and it gives me some examples. But you can upload files right here, and it's just free and ready to go. So from the get-go, there's just really no barriers. You can just write whatever you want here. So write an email to my AI mastermind list to thank them for coming to the webinar today. Okay, so there we go. Really smooth. You know, sometimes with ChatGPT, like it gets stuck and you wait and stuff like that. This actually, Claude has been working really well for me. My third go-to, if you're using any kind of Microsoft products, then I would probably go with the Microsoft Copilot and Bing search and stuff like that. I would probably say Bard is just really not quite ready yet. Are you, Fabienne, are you using Bard at all for anything?
I started using it, I guess, a few months back. I'm using ChatGPT lately, but I just got a, I guess, on my news feed regarding the new version of Bard coming out next year.
Yeah.
if you call that a new version or just a new model. But so I was just curious about that. But yeah, no, lately I've been using ChatGPT.
Yeah, in 6 months' time, I might tell you different, but we can only kind of go one day at a time right now, I think. And so it's great for you that you kind of started using Bard, early, so that when the newer version comes up, then you're really going to see some difference, and you'll be able to know right away, how much difference it is. But I would probably suggest you try Claude and see what you think, because you might like it better than ChatGPT. All right, cool. Ariel, my email, you can reach me at Leo at, here's my email, Ariel. Okay, any other questions before I sign out? All good? What's the one takeaway that you have out of all this?
I'm going to add ARPA.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe that thing is free. Honestly. I mean, I'm barely scratching the surface what I can use with it, but you can see all the different things. Hey, Pamela, was this helpful? Because I know you had asked me about it before.
Yes, for sure. It was helpful. Very much so. The only question I had was using HARPA within the email. Once I went in to my email, I was just trying it out. And when I went in, I couldn't clear it to start over. And I didn't know how do we do that? How do we clear it? Just like if we didn't like what it said and it was completely off, then how do I start over? That was the only thing I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, so two things. If you don't like what it wrote, you don't have to clear it. You can just say, hey, rewrite it better, rewrite it, with this or that, so that it can keep going. But if you want to just start over completely, then you can go back. You can go back to the main menu.
That's what I couldn't figure out how to do.
Yeah. I think you go, there's a button there at the lower right that opens the main menu with everything. You see it?
No, I don't have anything on the lower right. Mine are, and any buttons I have are the top left and right. One says IA, AI, I meant. Another says automate.
Yeah, here's what I'll do. I'll do a quick Loom video for you, and I'll email it to you. Right?
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone. I'm out of time.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you guys your Tuesday back, and I will see you guys later.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leo.
All right, take care.